This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Disney has been up to something with Hercules lately. There have been 2 giant productions of the story told in the past few years with lots of buzz about what's coming next. We saw a 200+ person cast perform a fresh take of the animated musical back in 2019 at Central Park as part of the Public Works Theater, and just this year, a headlining production staged in New Jersey's Paper Mill Playhouse has fans all worked up about the future of Disney on Broadway. Could Hercules be next? And while both these musicals were packed with razzle, dazzle, and the incomparable James Monroe Englehart, there's a third secret Hercules musical that few have seen, but changed the face of villains in Disney parks forever. So, let's roll the clock back to the early 2000s and unpack this mythic hero's journey on the high sea for Disney Cruise Line's Hercules the Musical. The musical. Trust me, it's that kind of joke that this whole show is full of. What's up, musical fans? It's Dan, back with a deep dive into a musical that time has forgotten. But before we bestow upon you the godly powers of knowledge, please consider heading over to Patreon to support the channel. We're having lots of fun hanging out in the Discord with live events. Plus, Patreon voted on this topic for this video. How cool is that? And if Patreon isn't your thing, then at the very least hit that subscribe button or drop this video a like, leave a comment, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. You're all amazing. Hercules the Musical was featured on the Disney Wonder and Disney Magic in the late 90s, merely a year off of the tail of the animated film in theaters. We've tackled the Cruise musical before, aka the Cruisical, with my previous video about the Toy Story musical that ultimately ended up replacing Hercules in 2008. But for the uninitiated, the Disney Cruise Musical is a small troupe of performers that perform several shows in rep, performing many different parts throughout the entire nights of your sailings.
Before the audience comes in,
most cruise musicals start with a little bit of chaos, a bunch of nonsensical fun gags and beats to give the people time to get to their seats. The show immediately thrusts us into the drama of a disorganized theater troupe out to tell the story of Hercules, but are hit with issue after issue. It's clear, right from the top of the show, that this show knows that we know it's a show. And I love that. The show is constantly changing to keep up with modern trends. Jokes are routinely swapped out and traded, inspiring performances of Disneyland's Hyperion Aladdin's Genie directly. Okay, finally, we're into the show. And I love these costumes, the wigs, the accessories. Everything here is super fun. I love the whole vibe of this thing. The 3 muses are joined by a ditzy blonde who can belt, and a dude dressed as a moose. Muse.
Who are you?
I'm your 5th moose.
Can we lose the elk?
Moose. Muse. Whatever.
This thick New Jersey Union accent guy comes on. He's like, dressed as a moose. He's like, hey, you guys, the union called me. They ordered a moose. Here's a great time to mention that throughout the show's 10-year run, things were wildly different from show to show, from ship to ship, and the show is so 90s. It's so 90s. It's like a musical time forgot.
I'm up here giving it the whole fire and brimstone thing. You guys are looking at me like I'm some big blue Teletubby. I said, do you want to hear a joke from Monkey Hades?
And it feels like when they put the jokes in this show, they were already too old. We were already groaning at them. And I have several full recordings of the show, and as I go through and watch them, things change, beats change, entire scenes change, but at its core, it's still the same script, the same songs, the same tracks. There's just one opening that they completely retooled into like a rhythmic clapping number a la Stomp. I don't know, man. It's bananas. The entire cast, Kenny, is like... and everyone in the audience is just like, what is happening? Regardless, despite this chaos, I love the opening. When the muses finally start singing, I am like right there. I'm glued in. I am like so ready. For our first big number, we get the muses setting the stage for the entire story with that iconic gospel sound. This is their musical. It's literally in the title. They have these cool Zeus and Hera puppets that they bring out with similarly dressed ensemble members that I love. They're like parade props. They give this larger-than-life appearance. And I love the Cloud baby stroller, such a fun prop. Some of the recordings have many gods, like multiple gods, and I don't know what the deal is. Maybe 2 Rocky of Seas, or maybe they got cut or added. I'm not exactly sure, but I love these gigantic god props. They briefly name drop Pegasus, and that's the last you'll hear about it in the show. Did you think you were gonna see a flying horse on a boat with a stage in it, rocking? No, there's no flying, no. I love all of the gospel truth reprises. They're my favorite part of the album. The music is just so good. Oh, it fills my heart with so much joy. So of course we all know what's gonna happen next. We need to head down to the underworld with a lot of going down puns, like elevator jokes.
Ladies, are we going down somewhere?
Bottom floor, the underworld.
Because we're on a cruise ship, right? Everyone's spent about 20% of their vacation on an elevator, so let's just go hard on elevator jokes. The costume of Hades is wild. It's wild. It's this face overlay thing with no face paint, just like a face overlay, an insane wig, and gigantic robes. This is just practically drag. This is Hades drag is what this is, and I love it. Pain and Panic have this very fun little character costumes that really capture the silhouette and vibe of the original animated green and pink lunatics. They make really fun bit characters throughout this entire show. Pain and Panic are my Kenny in a way, you know? I'm just out there doing lunatic schemes, and I just have an anxious, panicked Kenny following me around being like, ah! We also get to see the Fates in this scene, which I love because they're puppets. It's one guy in a middle costume, and then he's holding 2 puppets of the Fates. Super cool. I love these things. What's truly unique, though, about this production is its heavy leaning on the classic vaudevillian comedy inspired by James Wood's Hades in the original animation. It's this sort of experimentation with pandering directly to the audience that leads to dozens of shows exactly like this. We really give Hades all of the moments to be the star of this show. Constantly evolving pop culture monologues, this is the Hyperion genie before Aladdin ever rubbed a lamp.
Oh, here's one for the kiddies. Oops, I did it again!
And this version of Hades, this characterization as a park talk show host, continued to be used for decades of content. All of this energy still exists today in things like the Oogie Boogie Bash. This is villain pandering. This is where it was all born, or at least where Disney saw the dollar signs over villains. So, Hades has a plan to take over the world, and he sends Pain and Panic out, to take care of Hercules, just like that iconic scene in the movie that I love. You know, there's that bottle full of, like mysterious magic goo, and they make the baby drink it, but all those kinds of fun moments from the movie are just shortened down to just tiny little tableaus of just the Pain and Panic holding a doll baby, stabbing it with a bottle. It's wild. Smash cut to teenage Hercules in the marketplace causing chaos. Of course, chaos that all happens off stage with sound effects. Hercules here feels very wimpy when we first meet him. He's small, he lacks a lot of confidence, and that wig he is wearing is something else. This wig is so 90s blonde heartthrob JTT Tool Time. Like, what is going on? The I Could Go the Distance song in this production feels like weird. It feels so odd after we've had this onslaught of loud, campy craziness that has filled the stage. Literally to the point that between the verses of the song I Can Go the Distance, they inject these stupid comedy beats that are just they're nails on a chalkboard with this beautiful song. It can't figure out what it wants to do with this number. Is it gonna be fun? Is it gonna be beautiful? Is it gonna be weird?
Hercules, this was around your neck when we found you.
Oh, is it chocolate?
No, son, it's the symbol of the gods.
But, hey, what I love about this moment is that we get the muses reincorporating themselves back into the story. So when we have that giant Zeus-like building come in, the muses are the one puppeteering it, making it talk. I love that. I love all of the muse exposition in this story. Phil, hey, remember that Danny DeVito Disney role? Remember that naked guy who came out of a couch? and how he was a Disney hero once. So, Hercules is off to be trained by Phil, who is supposed to be played by someone who is now viciously seasick. So, of course, the production manager that we've been dealing with for the entire show now has to jump in and play the part mid-show. We literally watch him suit up on stage. It's hilarious. And I have to say, I love this costume. Like, it's this fun, simple headpiece / wig combo that's great, combined with this gigantic Homer Simpson-sized, like, pantsuit thing that he straps on. It's extremely convincing for literally just being 2 pieces of costume that are thrown on an actor in front of us. And this is how Phil stays for the rest of the show, and he's super cute. I mean, the minute he suits up, I can just hear that crunchy voice of Danny DeVito, you know, as an old grumpy satyr. I love it. I really do. This play is very much Noises Off, which is a popular show where you see the play and then the entire set turns around and you see backstage. Something that all the new productions of Hercules are absolutely missing. The training sequence is fun. We thrust young, scrawny Hercules into this, like, magic wardrobe that turns around and opens up, and boom! Suddenly he's a big, muscular guy. Like, he grows up and becomes adult muscle Hercules in that brown leather outfit that we all know and love. And he looks really good. He's got, like, super muscles, and I love the magic trick. And I like at the end of the number, they leave the magic wardrobe on stage, and the scrawny Hercules, you hear him and say, he's like, hey, he left me on stage, and then you just see the thing roll itself off. Essentially just breaking the whole illusion of the trick, but I love that. I love it. It's so cute. Welcome in Meg, who has the greatest wig I possibly have ever seen on a Disney stage. My God, this wig is gorgeous. Look at that ponytail. Ariana Grande wishes. We don't get to see Hercules fight the giant centaur. Instead, we see Pain and Panic bring out what look to be like just Barbie doll pieces of it. Like they're like action figure pieces, gigantic plastic props. But hey, Meg is beautiful. I know I already said that, but let's just go back to that. Hades, of course, he comes back. And to remind us all that Meg starts off as a baddie. Remember, she's working for Hades. He sinks back to the underworld, and Meg gets off to setting her trap for Wonder Boy in the Gorge, which we quickly skip, thanks to a bunch of newspaper gags, so we don't get to see Hercules fight the Hydra. What do you mean we don't get to see the Hydra? We don't even get to see, like, I don't know, like a couple people with pool noodles, like upstage, like in silhouette, wiggling around, just something? Nope, entirely off stage. But you know what? I applaud you, Hercules, the musical. You keep making those bold choices. The next song is one of my favorite songs from the entire movie. Zero to Hero. I love it. Here we get the Herc Amex card. I love a giant prop. I thought that this was a joke about the Bat Amex card from Batman and Robin, but it turns out both these movies came out the same year. So there was some bizarre parallel thinking with Hercules and Batman and Robin in which they had like joke credit cards. It culminates to Elvis Hercules, I guess. It was so cool. You know, the 90s were wild, man. Elvis in the 90s was like a cultural touchstone point for all of like the middle-aged parents who grew up with their parents worshiping Elvis. So kids in the audience are kind of like, yeah, Elvis. And all the adults are like, haha, Elvis from my youth. And now we watch and we're like, Elvis? You mean like Austin Butler? That guy who changed his voice and still didn't win the Oscar? The love plot. Of course, Meg is sent to destroy Hercules and find his weaknesses. But little does she know, she is the weakness. Even in the movie, she's a strong woman who is sassy and calculated, and she falls in love so fast in this musical, it will leave your head spinning. Like, it's already a rocky love story for the 90-minute animation, but you turn this into a 50-minute pop culture-filled chaos machine, and like, you're really taking the wind out of Meg's sails. Although I Won't Say I'm in Love. It's such an amazing song, and everyone has such a good Susan Egan impression, you know, like all those dark, mysterious tones. Thanks, Sutton Foster, for ruining all that Susan Egan energy we had all over Broadway for a while. That's a very specific joke that only a few of you are gonna get. Sutton Foster is this performer that came on the scene, and everything was bright. Everything was Sutton, everything. But Susan Egan, man, the original Belle from Beauty and the Beast, she's all down here. She's all down, I won't say I'm in love. It's a lot. All right, Hades, the exposition, the stand-up.
Let Let me tell you, I just flew in from the underworld, and boy, are my arms burnt. Secure an army of dark and evil creatures. Maybe the IRS is available. Winnie the Pooh. Because she has a pumpkin for a coach. Stay with me, people. Come on. A little bit of Beauty City. A little bit. Hold it, guys.
Well, we get an amazing moment here where Hades, he just sets up the whole culmination of his scheme. And how he goes about it, how he executes this, is delivering the cheesiest and corniest jokes and puns ever. You know, it's a nice setup. He lines up all the dominoes. He's like, the planets gotta line, we gotta get the Titans, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And then in true form to this musical, everything that he sets up is quickly skipped by a bit of offstage sound effects. But I do like this moment. It's a nice breath before we get into the marathon that we need to run towards the end of the show, and a marathon it is. We're closing in on the end of the show, and we have mere minutes left. So here we go. The finale is just a mad dash to the finish line. So many huge things happen in the final beats of this story. A literal battle with Titans, a dive into the underworld, epic fights, gods, sacrifice. It's a lot. Like, I don't even know what to make fun of because it all happens so fast. To the point where the finale song, A Star Is Born, is literally played twice the speed it normally is. Like, I swear to God, it's normally A Star Is Born, but in this it's A Star Is Born, A Star Is Born, A Star Is Born. Everyone is like sweating, full calisthenic workout for the cast by the end of the show. It's nuts. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. You know, DISP.com was a huge, stinky success thanks to my friends at Squarespace.com. And you know what? New year, new me, new website. I'm up to something. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. Connect your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights all in one easy-to-use platform. Create a community on your Squarespace website with fully integrated commenting systems that support threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their powerful blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too. Automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so your followers can share it too. Extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage your inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. Which is going to be super helpful because I'm starting my own merchandising website called Chuckle Kingdom. It's going to be super serious, but also silly, but serious at the same time. It's perfect. It's awful. It's exactly what you'd expect from me. Papa Dan. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/DisneyDan to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's pretty great to see the show, to see like the birth of something so commonly used now in the parks. This iteration of Hades from this show lives on almost literally to this day, and the villain worship that has been ushered in by the Disney Cruise Line with shows like Villains Tonight and Hercules have paved the way for Club Villain at Hollywood Studios and Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland. Like this is it. This is it, guys. And while this musical felt a little bit rushed at the end, at its core, it still very much understood what the story is. A mythical tale spun by the muses to an audience of eager ears. Our ears. There is no fourth wall here. There wasn't in the movie. We were being addressed directly by the muses, and this is an element that the modern musicals of Hercules that are being developed right now are really missing. They don't understand the vaudevillian camp that made the original movie so iconic. But this cruise musical in all of its chaos, if it did one thing, it certainly did that. It understood what it was, and that's why I love it. You have to take the chance to watch the entire run-through of this show. There are several clips out there just for the Hades jokes, just for all of this, the gags and the 90ness of it all. It's truly one of a kind. Thanks so much for watching, guys, as we deep dive back into an amazing Disney stage show. Thank you so much, Patreon, for voting for this show to be the show we talked about. Head on over to our Patreon and join up to help us vote on some of the next video topics we will cover. And if you can't head over to Patreon, at least join us across the many holy social media channels, such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, our vlog, Twitch, all of the places. So many places to worship. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. You're all amazing. I love you. You rock.